Have you been noticing your legs feeling weaker lately? That simple walk around the block taking more effort than before? Or climbing stairs has become a tiring chore with aches in your knees or annoying swelling by day's end? If you're over 60, you might chalk it up to just getting older. But what if I told you that some of that discomfort could actually be coming from something you think is healthy, something as ordinary as fruit? I'm talking about the fruits many people eat every day, believing they're doing their bodies a favor, when in fact they could be sapping your leg strength, fueling joint inflammation, and slowly stealing your mobility. Don't worry, this video isn't here to scare you. It's here to alert you and help you make smarter choices with the right information. Because once you understand how your body works after 60, everything starts to improve. Less pain, lighter steps, and more freedom to live life on your own terms. Stick with me until the end. I'm going to reveal the 7 fruits you should avoid to protect your leg strength. But before we dive in, one quick favor. If you care about your health and want more tips like this, hit subscribe and ring the bell. And drop your city name in the comments below. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Let's start with a fruit a lot of people adore, especially in the summer, the mango. And here's a straight-up question for you to ponder. Have you been feeling your legs get heavy more quickly? That sudden exhaustion, even after a short stroll? If so, know that your diet might be playing a bigger role than you realize, and the culprit could be something you think of as healthy. Mango seems harmless, sweet, tasty, juicy, packed with vitamins. That's exactly why many seniors reach for it regularly. But what few realize is that once you hit 60, your body begins to react differently to certain foods. And mango, unfortunately, can be one of them. Here's why. Mango is very high in natural sugars. In a younger, more active body, those sugars usually aren't a big deal. But as we age, our metabolism slows down, circulation becomes less efficient, and blood vessels grow more sensitive. Suddenly, that sugar load triggers spikes in your blood glucose, and each spike is a spark for inflammation. That inflammation hits your joints and your leg muscles directly. You might notice knee pain, swollen feet, legs that feel weak, or even nighttime cramps. And it can happen even if you're eating right, because what worked for you before may not be ideal now. Yes, mango brings vitamins, A, C, antioxidants, but that doesn't cancel out its high sugar content. And that sugar, in excess and on a daily basis, could be exactly what's holding back your mobility, draining your energy and slowing your muscle recovery. Most people don't spot this effect right away because it develops slowly. Mango won't make you ache today or tomorrow, but after months or years of regular consumption, the consequences start to show up, and you may never suspect the cause. So the point here isn't to demonize mango, but to ask whether it still belongs in your diet. If you're experiencing more pain, leg fatigue, trouble with stairs, or that locking up feeling, maybe it's time to take a closer look at what's on your plate. Banana. It's the go-to fruit when you want a quick energy boost or to ward off cramps, and you've probably heard it's great for muscles because of its potassium. But let me ask you, after eating a banana, have you ever noticed your legs feeling more swollen, your feet dragging by day's end? Ankles feeling stiff when you take that last step upstairs? Here's the truth. Despite its healthy reputation, and yes, it does have potassium, fiber, and vitamins, banana can actually backfire for anyone over 60, especially if you're eating them often or in large amounts. There are 2 main issues at play: sugar spikes and fluid retention. First, bananas contain natural sugars that get absorbed quickly, causing your blood glucose to surge. In a younger, more insulin-sensitive body, that's converted into energy. But in an aging body, where metabolism has slowed and insulin response isn't as sharp, those sugar spikes trigger inflammation, especially in the joints. Second, bananas can contribute to fluid retention, a common problem in older adults, particularly if you have high blood pressure, take heart medications, or have any kidney concerns. That extra fluid pools in your lower limbs, leading to swelling, heavy legs, and stiffness in your knees and ankles. Have you ever noticed your shoes feeling tight by evening, or felt like your calves were stretched too taut, making each step feel like a stretch? Those are classic signs of retention, and bananas might be amplifying them. What's ironic is that, because of their muscle-friendly mystique, many seniors eat bananas daily, at breakfast, mid-afternoon snack, even before bed. Step by step, they accumulate these hidden effects that feel like just getting old, when in reality, diet is playing a big role. So if you've been seeing more swelling, persistent aches, or that lead weight in your legs, take a minute to consider how often bananas show up on your plate. And if you do keep them in your menu, try scaling back. Pair them with foods that help flush excess fluid and stabilize blood sugar. Now let's talk about another small fruit that can have a big impact on your body. Now I want you to pause for a second and think about that little fruit that seems totally harmless, easy to snack on, sweet and almost always on the table, especially in fruit salads or as a quick bite. The grape. Be honest with me. Do you find yourself reaching for grapes often, assuming they're good for you because they're natural, small, and easy to digest? That's exactly where the danger lies. Grapes are the perfect example of how something that looks healthy can throw your body out of balance after 60. And it all comes down to the type of sugar they carry, fructose. Fructose is the natural sugar in fruit, and a fast metabolism can usually handle it just fine. But for many seniors whose metabolisms have slowed, fructose gets shipped straight to the liver. Once your liver can't process it all, that sugar turns into fat and uric acid. And that's when the trouble begins. Ever felt a sharp, throbbing pain in your big toe at night, or that unpredictable ache in your knee that comes and goes? Those could be signs of uric acid crystals accumulating in your joints, and grapes, eaten in excess, may be a direct contributor. On top of that, grapes are so easy to overeat without noticing. You pop one, then another, 5, 10, and before you know it, you've polished off a whole bowl. That flood of sugar sends your blood glucose soaring, forcing your body to crank up insulin production. In older adults, who often have some insulin resistance, this process only makes inflammation and fluid retention worse. The end result? More joint pain, more swelling, that heavy-legged feeling, trouble walking longer distances, and even tingling in your feet by day's end. Grapes are tasty and convenient, but they're not innocent. If you've been feeling pain while you walk, burning in your feet when you lie down, or stiffness in your ankles when you wake up, take a closer look at how many grapes you're eating. And remember, it's not about swearing them off forever, but about knowing when and how much to enjoy. Because even natural treats in excess can work against you. Pineapple. Just hearing the name brings that cool, tropical vibe to mind. But let me ask you this. Have you ever felt a burning sensation in your stomach after eating pineapple? Or noticed your joints acting up for no obvious reason? Here's the thing. Pineapple could be playing a bigger role in your discomfort than you realize. Sure, it contains bromelain, an enzyme with anti-inflammatory properties, which sounds great. But what people don't often mention is that pineapple is one of the most acidic fruits out there. And that acidity can backfire, especially if your joints or digestive system are already sensitive. As we age, our tissues, cartilage, connective membranes, even our stomach lining, become more fragile. Eating something as acidic as pineapple on a regular basis lets that acidity enter your bloodstream, settle into your joints, and spark pain and stiffness. You might feel a burning ache in your knees or hips that intensifies on chilly days or after a long walk. On top of the acidity, pineapple is also high in natural sugars, which can cause blood sugar spikes. Those spikes fuel inflammation and hamper circulation, particularly in your legs. And there's another risk. If you're on medications, especially blood thinners, bromelain can interact with your prescription, making it either too strong or less effective. That's a serious concern. Like the other fruits we've talked about, pineapple doesn't tip you off immediately. The effects build up over weeks or months until you find yourself feeling itchier, more swollen, and more fatigued, never guessing that your favorite tropical treat might be to blame. So if you're noticing increased sensitivity in your legs, pain when you stand up, or struggling more than usual with everyday walks, it might be time to rethink how often pineapple shows up in your diet. Have you noticed that as the years go by, maintaining a healthy diet has become more challenging? Lack of energy, digestive issues, muscle loss, and even difficulty eating a balanced diet are real struggles. But what if you could transform your nutrition and ensure better health, vitality, and well-being without complication? The ebook, The Art of Eating Well After 60, is the solution you need. Discover 10 essential steps to a healthy diet in your golden years. Learn how to prevent common diseases like diabetes, hypertension, anemia, and osteoporosis. Get strategies to restore your appetite and improve digestion. Understand the importance of hydration and key nutrients for aging with quality. And receive more than 50 healthy, easy, and delicious recipes to add to your daily routine. Every unhealthy meal is a missed opportunity to live with more energy, free from disease and daily fatigue. Don't wait until health problems get worse. The time to change is now. And the best part? The ebook is on sale. It costs less than a fast food meal, and your body will thank you for this choice. The link is in the pinned comment. Get yours now and start your transformation. Oranges are practically a health icon, right? Everybody grew up hearing they're packed with vitamin C, great for your immune system, and perfect at breakfast. But let me ask you this. Have you ever woken up with stiff knees? Felt that nagging ache in your hips after you've been sitting for a while? Believe it or not, it could be tied to oranges more than you think. Here's the deal. There are two main issues with oranges for anyone over 60. Excess acidity and natural sugars in the fruit or juice. Both can pose real challenges for an aging body. First, the acidity. As we get older, our tissues, including joint cartilage, become more sensitive. The citric acid in oranges, when consumed frequently, can circulate through your bloodstream and irritate those joint tissues. The result? Subtle aches, stiffness in your movements, and that feeling that your joints are locked up. You might notice it first thing in the morning, knees that take a while to loosen up, lower back stiffness, or trouble fully straightening your legs. That's not just getting old, it could be linked to regularly eating or drinking citrus. Second, the natural sugar. Oranges, especially as juice, have a high glycemic load, meaning they spike your blood sugar quickly. In older adults, that triggers erratic insulin releases, which fuel inflammation and can worsen joint pain. So you might think you're giving your body a boost with a daily glass of OJ, but you could actually be feeding the processes that lead to swelling and leg pain. And if you're downing juice every morning on its own, without fiber or protein, you're sending pure sugar straight into your bloodstream. What's the fix? You don't have to banish oranges forever, but rethinking how often and in what form you enjoy them can make a big difference in your daily comfort. A simple dietary tweak could mean less stiffness, less pain, and a lot more mobility. Watermelon. Refreshing, light, full of water. It seems like the perfect fruit, right? But what if I told you that the very fruit many people see as ideal for hot days could actually be weakening your legs and harming your circulation? Strange as it sounds, let's unpack why that might be. Have you ever felt your feet or ankles swell after eating watermelon? Or noticed your legs feel tired even after a simple activity? It might not be a coincidence. Despite its reputation for hydration and lightness, watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That means it raises your blood sugar nearly as fast as a candy bar. And for anyone over 60, that's a major concern. Over time, our bodies lose some ability to manage those glucose spikes. The result is extra insulin production, which fuels inflammation and can directly affect the blood vessels feeding your leg muscles. What does that cause? Fatigue, pain, difficulty moving, and even that tingly or heavy feeling in your calves by day's end. What's more, watermelon is so easy to overeat. You cut a slice, then another, and before you know it, you've devoured half a melon, consuming far more sugar than your body can efficiently process. Here's another twist. Even though watermelon is mostly water, that water doesn't necessarily hydrate you properly when it's accompanied by so much sugar. It can throw off your electrolyte balance and contribute to fluid retention, making swelling in your legs and feet even worse. Many older adults believe watermelon helps flush out extra fluid, but in some cases, it can do the opposite, especially if you already have circulation issues or blood sugar concerns. So if you've noticed that after eating watermelon, your legs feel heavier or you experience more muscle discomfort than usual, it might be worth paying closer attention to how this harmless summer treat is affecting your body. Green apples. They look fresh and clean, and because they're not as sweet as other fruits, many people assume they're the healthiest choice. Maybe you do too. But let me ask you this. Have you ever woken up with those pesky nighttime cramps? Or felt odd stiffness in your hips and knees when you first get out of bed? It might sound surprising, but green apples could be tied to those symptoms. Here's why. Green apples get their tart flavor mainly from a substance called malic acid. In younger, healthier bodies, that acid can have benefits, but after 60, it can be a real challenge. As we age, our digestive system grows more sensitive and our tissues, including joint cartilage, become more fragile. The malic acid in green apples can irritate the lining of your gut and, when eaten in excess, even contribute to joint inflammation. That's the dull, constant ache in your hip, the nagging discomfort in your knees climbing stairs, or the tightness you feel behind your legs when you rise from the couch. What makes it worse is how people often eat green apples, raw and on an empty stomach, sometimes right before bed. That amplifies the acid's impact on your stomach and throughout your body. There's another factor. Even though green apples taste less sweet, they still contain natural sugars. Those sugars, even in smaller amounts, can cause blood glucose swings, which, as we've discussed with other fruits, can drive inflammation and upset the balance of muscles and joints in older adults. Ever heard someone say they wake up with stiff, achy knees, even without any strenuous activity the day before? It could be the subtle imbalances caused by foods like green apples. Now, I'm not saying green apples are bad. They can be fantastic at other stages of life. But after 60, our bodies need gentler, more balanced choices that match how we function today. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Now that you know what to avoid, start incorporating the right foods into your daily routine. You'll feel the difference in your energy, in your legs, and in your overall quality of life. And there's more great content waiting for you. Just click the video popping up on your screen. Your health deserves that kind of care.